Brilliance Audio presents Backlash by Lisa Jackson, performed by Sarah Naughton. Determined to be as cool and indifferent as Denver, Tessa marched through the rain to the house. The nerve of the man, she thought. He'd waltzed back into her life only to tell her that everything they had shared had been lies. He had twisted the truth to serve his own purposes. Well, he could twist it all he liked. She wasn't afraid of Denver or his lies. He couldn't possibly hurt her more than he already had. Seething, she kicked off her boots on the back porch and stalked into the kitchen in her stocking feet. The mingled smells of warm coffee, stale cigarettes, and newsprint filled the air. Illuminated by the one remaining low-watt bulb, the room was muted, some of its defects hidden. Tessa half expected to find Denver at the table, but the kitchen was empty. She knew he had to be in the house or on the grounds nearby. His rental car was parked near the garage, under the overhanging branches of an ancient oak, and she'd watched him storm into the house just minutes before. So who cares? She asked herself angrily. He'd made himself perfectly clear. She meant nothing to him, and so much the better. At least now they could get down to business. She poured herself a cup of coffee from a glass pot, still warming on the stove, took a sip, and grimaced before tossing the remaining dregs down the drain. She refilled the cup with hot water for instant coffee and placed it in the microwave. She listened, but didn't hear a sound other than the hum of the refrigerator, the gentle whir of the tiny oven, and the drip of the rain outside. Maybe Denver had left through the front door. Usually, after chores, if Tessa found a few minutes to herself, she enjoyed the time. But now, as she stirred decaf crystals into her cup and pretended to read the headlines of the newspaper spread all over the kitchen table, she was tense. The overhead bulb flickered, strobing the chipped formica, the yellowed layers of wax on the old linoleum, and the nicked cabinets. The entire ranch was falling apart, and the disrepair was glaringly evident. Denver would soon discover just how bad things were. Maybe she should tell him, get everything out in the open. Still wrestling with that decision, she walked through the corridor leading to the stairs, but stopped when she noticed a crack of light glowing under the study door. So Denver had holed up in the office. No doubt he was already poring over the books, searching for flaws. Her fingers curled tightly over the handle of her cup. If it took every ounce of grit within her, she had to find a way to work with him and get through the next few days without antagonizing him. Her father needed this job. Since the fire, no one else in Three Falls would hire Curtis Kramer. She twisted the knob, shoving on the door. Denver was right where she expected him to be, seated behind John McLean's old walnut desk. Leaning over a stack of ledgers and invoices, his head bent, light from the desk lamp gleaming in his black hair, he worked, finally glancing up. What? His shirt sleeves were pushed over his forearms, leaving his dark skin bare. An old ache settled in Tessa's heart. She stared at him a second, and she had trouble finding her voice. "Making yourself at home?" she asked finally, though she tried to sound nonchalant, as if she didn't care one whit about him. There was a wistful ring in her words. Denver leaned so far back in his chair that it creaked against his weight. Impatiently, he stretched his arms, then cradled the back of his head in his hands. "I'm only staying a couple of weeks. To iron out a few things." "Such as?" "Back taxes, for starters." His gaze shifted to a stack of unpaid bills.